Good afternoon and welcome to the Contrab's coverage of this Premier League clash. It's Everton taking on Arsenal with the game taking place at Goodison Park. I'm your alternative commentator Russ Vernon and my co-commentator today is Paul James, and we'll go across to Paul very shortly. Before we go through today's team news and the ref match officials for today's game and give you a bit of information about the referee today, let's run you through some earlier scores then, starting off in the Championship. It kicked off at midday today, 12 noon, for those wondering what midday is, and it finished Millwall 0, Leeds United 3, Joel Perreault with a brace, and Jorginho Rutter also on the score sheet for Leeds, who move up to 10th place in the Championship. Give you a full recap of the Championship table a little bit later on in the programme. In the early game in the Premier League, it finished Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. So a quick look at how the table stands ahead of our game at 4:30, which is Everton and Arsenal. Arsenal with a win today will move level on points with Liverpool and Tottenham on 13 points and will move above Brighton. As for Everton, a win for them will see them climb out of the bottom three and up to 15th, a point behind Chelsea, a point clear of Bournemouth after their point last time out against Sheffield United. Well then, to today's teams. And Everton have made two changes. I'll recap the teams a little bit later on as well, with Patterson and Garner dropping out, Mikalenko and McNeil come in. Lewis Dobbin returns to the squad with Andy Lonergan missing out. Also make two changes of their own. Ramsdale and Havertz both benched today by Mikel Arteta. David Raya makes his Arsenal debut in goal, and Fabio Vieira comes into the side as well. Let's run you through the two sides, and it's Pickford in goal for Everton. Mikalenko, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Young across the back. Tarkowski is the captain. McNeil, Gay, Nana and Danjuma in midfield. Abdoulaye Doucouré is just behind Beto in the Everton attack. Vinagre, Patterson, Keane, Calvert-Lewin, Godfrey, Shimerte, Garner, Dobbin and Onyango are on the bench. As for Arsenal, as I mentioned, Raya is in goal in place of Aaron Ramsdale. White, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko at the back is Erdegaard, Rice, Fabio Vieira in midfield, Bukayo Saka, Eddie Nketiah and Gabriel Martinelli in attack. On the bench for Arsenal is Aaron Ramsdale, sub-goalkeeper, Gabriel Jesus, Emile Smith-Rowe, Jakub Kiwior, Takiro Tomiyasu, Leandro Trossard, Jorginho, Reece Nelson, Kai Havertz. On the benches. As for the referee, is 41-year-old Simon Cooper, who is from Swindon. He refereed 29 Premier League games last season, 100 yellows and 1 red card. He wanted 6 penalties. He's only sent a player off once in the last 63 Premier League games, and that was to Junior Firpo of Leeds United. That was in a 2-2 draw against Newcastle at Ellen Road in May 2023. The assistants today is Simon Long and Adrian Holmes. He is his assistants. Anthony Taylor is the fourth official, and the VAR today at Stockley Park is showed Atwell and Nick Greenhalgh. And let's get the first thoughts of the game to Paul James. And Paul, we've just heard the teams there and the match officials and an interesting stat about Simon Hooper, the referee today. What do you make to this game, Paul? And very good afternoon to you, my friend, as well.
Good afternoon, Russ. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, it's a Herculean task for Everton today. They have had the better of Arsenal over the last 5 games, though. Everton hold currently 3 wins to 2 over Arsenal. So it's, I suppose, the numbers lean in their favour, but to be honest with you, I think this is an extremely difficult task for an Everton team that is definitely struggling this season, especially defensively. I think, for me, Ross, I think this could be a long day at the office for Everton.
Yes, and obviously, Paul, I mentioned with the team that David Raya makes his Arsenal debut, and Ramsdale the bench, as we look at the two sides again, Everton making two changes with Patterson and Garner dropping to the bench for them, with Young playing right back, Mikalenko left back, Tarkovsky and Banthwaite to the centre back partners. But with Arsenal then, Ramsdale dropped to the bench, as to his Sky Havertz. A debut for David Raya, who's as we all know, a very top quality goalkeeper, as we saw when he was in action at Brentford, and Fabio Vieira coming into the side. But with Ramsdale dropping to the bench and Raya coming in, do you think that's down to the fact that Arsenal have got a Champions League tie in midweek against PSV?
Well, not just that, they've also got the North London derby the week a few days after that on the Sunday. It's a good opportunity for Raya as well as he takes up his position in, for Arsenal. This is a big responsibility to play for a team like Arsenal, and it's definitely something that he's going to be. I just wonder how he's going to be feeling about it. I mean, it's there are. Arsenal are a very famous team. This is with all due respect to Brentford. Arsenal are a world-renowned team, a huge team, and this is a massive opportunity for him. I think for him, it's going to be important for him not to concede any early goals.
Yes, and when you look at the midfield battles, then Paul, for Everton they've got just gone again Andre Amadou and Nana in the midfield, and then for Arsenal they've got Declan Rice, Odegaard and Vieira, but Odegaard will probably be the more attacking one. So there's Rice and Vieira up against Nana and Gay. I'd see that battle going today.
Well, I think what Everton need to do is make sure they watch Odegaard around the edge of the 18-yard box. Odegaard gets forward a lot. He's very attacking. He's dangerous. Manchester United did not pick him up in the last game, and he's very dangerous from in and around the 18-yard box. So Everton are going to have to watch for that. He's well renowned for it. As for Declan Rice and Idrissa Gana Gay, that'll be an interesting battle. I think Declan Rice has definitely settled in well into that central midfield role for Arsenal. It's going to be a challenge for Onana and Gay today for sure. They're going to have their work cut out.
Yes, absolutely. As always, with all the rest of the Premier League games today, we're now just going to take a minute's silence to remember those who lost their lives in Morocco and Libya. So we're back in a couple of seconds. Tremendously observed at Goodison Park and observed by us as well, myself and Paul James, as we get ready for the game then. Arsenal will be getting ready to will be kicking this game off. They'll be attacking the goal away to my right in the first half. They're in red shirts, white shorts, red socks. Everton in their traditional blue shirts, white shorts, white socks. Simon Hooper just putting the thumbs up to David Raya and to Jordan Pickford. And he now blows his whistle as Eddie Nketiah drops it all the way back to David Raya, who finds Ben White. And that was the first touch for the Arsenal debuting goalkeeper today. As here comes Arsenal now with Zinchenko's. Like always, drops into that midfield position. And he's at the back with William Saliba. Saliba across to Gabriel, who's like Arsenal playing a back three today, it would seem, rather than the back four that we eagerly anticipated. As is Declan Rice now over halfway into Ben White. Back into Declan Rice it goes. And now here is Alexander Zinchenko for Arsenal. Midway inside their own half. Into the centre circle now, and here's William Saliba in the centre circle. Right to Declan Rice, just on halfway, but inside the Arsenal half. Here is Saliba again. Good ball into Zinchenko inside the Everton half, and it's worked out to this right side and Saka. On to Odegaard, back into Bukayo Saka, and ball in towards Eddie Nketiah, back heel into Martin Odegaard, first chance for Arsenal, he breaks for Rice, across to Zinchenko, how wide it goes, but given away, and now Everton can try and break with Ashley Young, he can get the ball forward brilliantly, here he can't, as Danjuma tried to go into that, Declan Rice read that situation well, and stopped Everton's attack. There's Gabriel now for Arsenal. Coming up towards 90 seconds gone in this first half. It remains Everton nil, Arsenal nil. You listen to the commentary up. Then we've alternative commentary with myself, Russ Brennan, and Paul James bringing the match. Today's the ball played out wide to Bukayo Saka on this right-hand side. We've got the thoughts of Paul's on the opening exchanges. Very short clears. Here's Zinchenko now. Spreading the ball out wide here to Gabriel Martinelli, who gets the ball down the line to Fabio Vieira. Good way between the two youngsters in the Arsenal side. Here's Alexander Zinchenko, who delivers a wonderful ball in, and it headed behind for an early corner to Arsenal. 2 minutes gone. Arsenal starting on the front foot early on here, Paul.
Yeah, Arsenal started very positively, Ross, and to be honest with you, I think Everton are defending quite deep right now, looking to catch Arsenal on the break.
Yes, and that's what Arsenal, I mean, that's what Everton did last year when they beat Arsenal 1-0 at Goodison Park. Mikel Arteta will be hoping it'll be a different scenario this time around for his Gunners here on Merseyside, on the blue off of Merseyside against Everton. As the corner is about to be taken, then with Bukayo Saka whips the ball in towards the penalty area, headed away by Tarkowski, and it's out for throwing to Arsenal, which will be taken here by Bukayo Saka, or will Saka leave this for Ben White? He leaves it for Ben White, who throws it into Odegaard. Odegaard, back to White, and now further back to William Saliba, just inside the Everton half, into the centre circle, and Gabriel back to Saliba. Now Declan Rice dropping deep to help out William Saliba. Rice looks like he's playing on the right back spot just then for a moment, as is Gabriel, who looked to get the ball back in towards Ben White, who takes a touch and then into the centre circle for Rice. Out wide to Bukayo Saka, almost right hand side, attacking down the Arsenal right into Eddie Nketiah with a lovely back heel looking from Martin Odegaard, and Branthwaite was across there to clear away, and Everton can't get better through their forward, who scored his first couple of goals against Doncaster Rovers in the cup when they knocked out the League Two side. It was at that moment it was the bottom of the Premier League again, travel to the bottom of the Football League in that competition at that time. As here comes Arsenal now down that far side with Gabriel Martinelli, who Ashley Young did absolutely fantastically well there to win his side of goal kick off of Gabriel Martinelli. It remains Everton 0, Arsenal 0.
Well, smart move there by Ashley Young as well. Used all his experience there on Martinelli. Just going back to that swift move, quick thinking by Jordan Pickford to try to pick out Beto. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Everton, but that was quick thinking by Jordan Pickford.
Yes, absolutely good thinking from Pickford as well to try and get Everton on the front foot early on. As here comes Arsenal now, looking towards Eddie Nketiah, but Tarkowski just climbs over the top to win the header cleanly, according to referee Simon Hooper. And also, I thought that was a clean header as well from James Tarkowski, but I have seen some of those sort of challenges giving us free kicks in the Premier League this season and previously gone by. And now it's David Raya with another touch on his Arsenal debut to find William Saliba. Drops it into Gabriel Martinelli, who had to come deep to get the ball here, Martinelli. And he can't pick out Zinchenko. And that's a poor ball from Gabriel Martinelli, all the way on this right hand side. Normally playing on the left, will come all the way onto the right and in a defensive sort of position and try to switch the play across to go on the attack very quickly. But Everton have got the ball back. And Branthwaite has to go all the way back to Pickford, being under pressure by Martin Odegaard. There was Branthwaite as the ball back to Pickford. And he's off of Martinelli this time for Everton throwing. And Everton looking to settle into this game. And as you say, Paul, I think you're quite right. Everton are looking to try and catch us on the counter-attack move. Your thoughts on that? A bit more in a moment, and why you think that potentially could be. As here is Young for Everton to Tarkowski. And now across into Mikalenko. And Everton give the ball away, but Decore is back there to help out with the ball back in his back with Pickford. So what do you think Everton are trying to get Arsenal on the counter-attack? They went well last season, but what do you think Daesh has seen under Arteta that can make him think Everton can catch Arsenal on the counter attack.
Well, it's very much a Sean Dyche way of playing. This is the way he chooses to play against some of the bigger teams. Obviously, Arsenal press a lot. The front line there, Nketiah, Martinelli, and Saka press a lot. Odegaard presses a lot. So he's looking to. I see what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing him trying to catch Arsenal when they're pressing in the hope that he might be able to get sort of an odd man rush, if you will.
Yes, it is Saliba for Arsenal. Drops it to Declan Rice, who drops it into Zinchenko. Back to Saliba and across to Gabriel as Arsenal build their way up from the back. On the left-hand side is Gabriel, who drops it into the centre and finds William Saliba again. He's got Rice open as he tries to go over the top. He said towards Gabriel Martinelli, but headed away by Tarkowski for Young. And now Gay pushing on under a bit of pressure, but Onana did absolutely fantastic to get the ball for Everton. Here's Dwight McNeil, twisting one way then the other, but then he's lost out. And now here's Martin Odegaard. Why won the ball back for Arsenal? Odegaard in towards Bukayo Saka, but Branthwaite's crossed there fantastically. Who push it behind for a goal kick. Push it behind for a corner, should I say, to Arsenal. Well, that's good play again there, Paul, from Everton.
Yeah,
Defensively, poor, should I say.
defensively very smart there. Braithwaite was watching the run from Saka there. This was important because Saka makes these beautiful runs. And look at him go. You see it here straight away. Odegaard is looking for him. He's gone. Braithwaite has read it. Right across, made the tackle. Corner ball.
Yes, corner then to be taken by Bukayo Saka again. It looks like he's going to be the nominated on kick take this afternoon as Saka delivers the ball in towards the back post. Ball can't be kept alive there by Martinelli. He's put behind for a corner to Arsenal again. It looked like Tarkowski trying to clear it. It's the back of Ashley Young. I wonder if Saka's going to come across this far side to take it. I'm just looking at this one again. Did he come up? Did Tarkowski clear it? Oh no, with Branthwaite off of Ashley Young for a corner. And this time, instead of Bukayo Saka, on the left-hand side, is Gabriel Martinelli to take. No, he's not Martinelli. I'm trying to work out who it is over. I think it's Fabio Vieira to take it on that far side for Arsenal. They go Shaw though. And now is Zinchenko. Ball into Vieira, who goes for goal and just over the bar in the end from Fabio Vieira into the side today in place of Kai Havertz and just over the bar there, Paul.
Yeah, an opportunity for Arsenal here. You can see that he gets time in the penalty area to turn and shoot. You'd expect him to hit the target from there.
Yes, Everton 0, Arsenal 0, 9.5 minutes gone here on the commentary. We also have, of course, JB Sports, Storm FM. We're also live on Twitch as well. The commentary of Twitch and my Twitch also made on the main commentary channel as well. Hi to GY, so hopefully you're doing okay, my friend. He says hi to myself and Paul and Phil Norman's in. He says Costello, whatever that is. I'm not sure what he means by that, but thank you for your comment as well, my friend. Hopefully you're doing okay, GWAS. Thank you for tuning in to us once again. Let us know where you are in the world and what you are doing while you're listening to us here on the commentary. As David Ray has the ball at his feet, he plays it into Ben White, who can fetch the ball forward into Bukayo Saka. Saka just absolutely fantastic. But he's been held off there and is Ashley Young, but the referee's brought it back. No advantage there, and Saka was fouled as he played the ball out wide. And Paul, is that the right decision for you?
Yeah, I think so. It's again the ball is they're giving the ball away in midfield a little bit, Arsenal, but they tend to build up from the back, so it's not surprising. And the breakout for me for Arsenal is has been what they've been doing in this game, building up from the back and pressing forward. So it's very typical Arsenal from what I've seen this season, Russ. I've covered them a lot this season.
Yeah, you've been one of our Arsenal correspondents this season. But this afternoon I decided I was going to take over as the main commentator for this game. But Paul, as the Arsenal correspondent, was still able to join us this afternoon on co-commentary for this game as we see Saliba in possession for Arsenal. Here's Declan Rice, up towards halfway, over halfway now. Out wide to Ben White, into Rice again. Back into Ben White. Down the line towards Bukayo Saka, can't get there. He's cleared away. And then a late challenge there on Jordan Pickford from Eddie Nketiah. And that's a naughty challenge there. And Eddie Nketiah could be the first name into the book here.
Yeah, it was 50-50. He was entitled to go for it, but he didn't need to follow through like that. That was that's a pretty unpleasant challenge. It's looking like he hasn't done anything wrong, but you can't do that. It's 50-50, but I mean, he doesn't make any effort to get out of the way of the goalkeeper once he's cleared it, does he? But I suppose it's a little bit looking at it again, Ross. I don't know. I almost want to give Nketiah the benefit of the doubt. Just simply because of the fact that he's charging in there, and it's difficult sometimes to get out of the way when you're running at that speed.
Yes, and I'm just seeing where Pickford's taking this free kick from here, Paul. And it was right near the corner, right near the goal line, and he's took it from towards the edge of his own box, trying to gain a bit of an advantage as he comes wide to clear the ball away, looking towards Eddie Nketiah. Tarkowski's there with Nketiah and got a run on Nketiah and got the ball back to Pickford, who gets it back to Tarkowski, and now back to Pickford again. And he now finds Branthwaite, and that's good play from Jordan Pickford there to get the ball away for Everton as they look to switch the play with Branthwaite trying to pick out Danjuma over there as Danjuma and Guamanil switches the flanks ever so often as Mikalenko gets it back to Pickford and back to Mikalenko, and nicely worked there between the two Everton players, the goalkeeper and the left back. Everton won the ball moving quickly forward, but Everton know, the players know that they can't do what the fans want them to today because Arsenal, they know how good Arsenal are and will catch Everton on the break ever so if they're not careful by turning the ball over very high up in the field. It's coming up towards 14 minutes gone, and it remains Everton 0, Arsenal 0 on the commentary hub, the home of alternative commentary, with myself, Russ Vernon, and Paul James guiding you through this Premier League encounter this afternoon. Here is Rice. What can he do here now? He finds Ben White. Does the mainstay in the England midfield at the moment, one of the mainstays of the defensive midfield role for England in the European Championship qualifier, had Jordan Henderson alongside him. And in the friendly win against Scotland last week, he had Manchester City's Calvin Phillips in there. As here comes Saka into Martin Odegaard. Wonderful free from Martin Odegaard, who's doing well, but Decore is back there to win the ball back for Everton and gets the ball forward towards better, but giving the ball away as is Rice coming forward for Arsenal. Beto gives the ball away to Rice, who's fouled by Decore there, who's not happy with that challenge and that decision from the referee. Paul, your take on that free kick?
Yeah, he was caught, wasn't he? Declan Rice just pulled away from him, and he just caught him. It's a free kick. It's not arguing. That's usually a a sign that they've kind of accepted it. And a lot of the time, even when it is a free kick, if it's any kind of a doubt about it, the player will argue. But he just walks away there. He knows.
Yes, as Eddie Nketiah tried to get him behind there, the Everton back line, but the flag was up for offside against the Arsenal front man, the former Leeds United loanee as well, Eddie Nketiah, when Leeds were back last in the Championship. Leeds now back there and won 3-0 away to Millwall earlier today. If you've just joined us and you didn't hear that result at the top of the programme, that is why you've got a beaming, smiling Russ Vernon on commentary today with the Leeds United victories. Here comes Everton trying to get into that towards the penalty area. We're looking for better from Decore, but Arsenal shepherd the ball back to David Raya. A successful pass in the final third so far, Paul. Everton 1, Arsenal 19, and you can see the quality of the Arsenal front line compared to Everton's. and you can just look at, and you can probably tell why that's like that, from where the teams are in the table. As here comes Arsenal now with Bukayo Saka on the right hand side, and he's lost there to Mikalenko and wins his side of throwing. There does Bukayo Saka, which Odegaard will look to take. Throws it back to Ben White instead of waiting for White to come and take the throw in himself. White into Declan Rice as the two Englishmen combine into William Saliba, the Frenchman. And now here is Declan Rice again, who will look to try and get the ball forward. Just want to give a big shout out to one of the Arsenal players today as well, which is Gabriel. I meant to mention it at the top of the show, but big shout out to Gabriel, the Arsenal centre back, who makes his 100th appearance today. So congratulations to Gabriel, 100th Premier League appearances. I suppose it was a penalty, and Vieira can't keep the ball alive there for Arsenal. And with Gabriel's 100th appearance in the Premier League today, in his previous 99, Paul, I know you already know this, but I'm going to ask you anyway, just see if you can remember this from when you read it the other day. How many clean sheets has Arsenal kept with Gabriel in the side in the previous 99? You can answer me in a second after this Arsenal attack with Rice to White, who gives the ball away, and here comes Everton now, but White wins the ball back. He drops it all the way back to David Ray there, Ben White, and there's the 100th capped man, Gabriel to find Zinchenko. And Paul, what's your answer to that question I asked you there?
I honestly can't remember, to be honest. I'm just trying to have a guess at it. I think they've kept. Well, I'm pretty confident they've kept at least 4 clean sheets in the last 19, but I'm not sure of the answer to your question, Russ, to be honest.
The answer to my question I'll tell you after this Arsenal attack, as they will come forward down the right hand side with Bukayo Saka wins his side. Throwing there does Saka. White to take the throw in for Arsenal in towards Martin Odegaard, and he's back towards Ben White, but Everton just managed to clear up towards halfway where Saliba lets the ball bounce. Beto trying to close him down, and Outros closes down Gabriel, and unfortunately can't get the ball back as then Nketiah gets smoked to Vieira, and he's throwing to Martinelli. Martinelli's onside. Gabriel Martinelli makes it 1-0. Arsenal take the lead, and it's Gabriel Martinelli with the finish. And that is a fantastic finish. And that is one outstanding goal from the Arsenal man who can't stop scoring, Paul James.
Yes, wonderful goal. And again, it's Arsenal build up again. And Everton's defence caught very square here. The pass itself, really, there's 4 of them in a line. Everton players, 4 Everton defenders in a line here. Now, he starts off in the centre circle. He's onside. I don't know. I don't think there's any issue there. There's Eddie Nketiah. Just drops the ball back. The pass is through there by Vieira, I think. And they're just caught so square at the back there of the Everton defence, and that left Martinelli in. You just can't give that man that much space. And his finish at a tight angle was exquisite, it has to be said.
Yes, VAR are checking for a possible offside in the build-up to that Arsenal goal, which is being credited to Gabriel Martinelli for a fantastic finish. And I just want to say that finish there, Paul, from Gabriel Martinelli was similar to the one that was finished off brilliantly by Joe Perreault for his first goal for Leeds in their 3-0 win over Millwall earlier today. VAR just checking this, and Nketiah, who dropped the ball back, was coming back from an offside position. The goal will not count. Arsenal have seen a goal disallowed, and the score is back at 0-0. Eddie Nketiah come back from an offside position in the build-up. Clearly as days offside.
Yeah.
His foot, disallowed, offside. 0-0. Yeah. Correct decision there, Paul?
Looking at that again, I mean, I didn't see it the first time I looked at it, but when you look at it on the frozen view there, you can see his foot, I think it's his left foot, is just straight into that offside position. So, you can't argue with that. It's the right decision. VAR's done its job.
Yes, so VAR got that one spot on, and Luckily for VAR, folks, me and you never spotted that in the initial play, did we?
No, it was very tight. It looked onside to me when you look at it at live view, but you almost have to see the freeze cam to be able to look at it and see it. Um, so it was interesting, but Everton are off the hook, so to speak.
Everton off the hook so far, 21, just over 21.5 minutes gone here at in the match at Goodison Park. It's Everton nil, Arsenal nil, as David Raya just has the ball. There's a stoppage in players. Gabriel Martinelli is down for Arsenal, down on his down on the floor. Then we're just looking at this goal again, and you can see from this angle here, Paul, that we've gone now that is clearly offside there. Eddie Nketiah came back. They pulled straight away. The flag didn't go up. Vieira saw Martinelli. He was onside. Gabriel Martinelli is the fact that Eddie Nketiah touched the ball back to Vieira, which is why the goal got disallowed.
Yeah.
And if Martinelli has to come off here, Paul, that's going to be a big blow for Arsenal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, they've got options on the bench. They've got Leandro Trossard on the bench, and of course Reece Nelson. They can use at a push Kai Havertz in that position, but I think Kai Havertz is generally better in a more midfield role than he is in a forward role. That's been my experience of watching him for Germany and also for Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just started, and you can see from this angle here as well. He's clearly offside. There was Nketiah, and I can understand why, having looked at the views from the camera angles have just shown there, why it was offside
Yeah.
from the point of view there. And the Everton players and Arsenal players just taking a drink on board, and he's going off here, Gabriel Martinelli, and he's going to be replaced by Leandro Trossard, and that's going to be a big blow for Arsenal. Martinelli has really lit up the Premier League this season, and has been a real key part of their front three, and it'll probably be a big miss depending on how long it's going to be out for, Paul.
Yeah, that's that's a big blow for Arsenal. Is that? That's a massive blow, and very disappointing for him. On another day, he's continuing to play on with a goal in the box. That's the fine margins of football that that Sean Dyche has spoken about before. I hope Gabriel Martinelli recovers quickly and is back on the pitch, because as far as football is concerned, it's better when he's playing.
Yes, as here comes Arsenal in possession with Alexander Zinchenko, who turns away and finds Ben White, lobs it down the line to Bukayo Saka. Saka back into Ben White, who looked to keep the ball moving here for Arsenal. White across then into the path of William Saliba, and across then now to Gabriel, and back into Saliba, and now into Declan Rice, who turns on the ball and feeds in Bukayo Saka on this right hand side. Saka infield to Declan Rice between inside the Everton half and switches the ball out well, and first touch of the ball for Leandro Trossard. Trossard going one way then the other, drops it back to Zinchenko, cuts infield. Martin Odegaard back to Zinchenko. How wide it goes there, Zinchenko, and here comes Vieira. Zinchenko again for Arsenal. Midway inside the Everton half and into the centre circle, and Saliba across this right hand side, and Ben White. White drops it back to Saliba and across then to Gabriel, and further out wide there's Leandro Trossard over on that far side, and Trossard just keeps the ball moving into Ben White on this near side, the right as Arsenal attack. Here is Bukayo Saka down the line, he gets it back, just Ben White continued his run. White pulls the ball across, comes out to Declan Rice, goes one way, shoots, blocked, comes out to Zinchenko, out wide to Vieira. Vieira chips the ball in towards the back post, and White heads it behind. Is a goal kick to Everton, but that's good pressure again there from Arsenal, just no end product.
Yeah, the press is on again by Arsenal, isn't it? They're just pressing in large numbers. They've not been able to take any of these opportunities yet. But this is what you expect to see from Arsenal, pressing the defence, forcing that Everton defence inside their own 18-yard box. And you can see so far it's working for Arsenal. They just have to start taking some of the chances that they are trying to create.
Yes, and the last chance there which Ben White headed over, perhaps it probably would have been better. I mean, that's from me seeing it again, of him leaving it for Martin Odegaard coming in behind him to potentially head it back across, score for Arsenal to try and score that way. But why wasn't to know that Odegaard was behind him? No communication between the two. As Tarkowski is under pressure from Eddie Nketiah, and Tarkowski has to clear out for an Arsenal throw-in midway inside the Everton half on the left-hand side, which will be taken by Alexander Zinchenko, who comes up to take it. And Zinchenko is looking for options. Assessing the options, looking for Trossard. Trossard's making a move, and he finds Rice instead. And Rice does it again. And Everton just concede another throw-in. Arteta gives the ball to his left-back, Alexander Zinchenko, for Arsenal to go over the play. As Vieira drops it back to Zinchenko. Now here's Saliba. Across now for Ben White, as Arsenal working from left to right with the ball. As White has it now for Arsenal. Here is Saliba into the path of Alexander Zinchenko, and Zinchenko will come to get the ball forward looking for Bukayo Saka. He's cleared away. Here is Mikalenko down the line to Decore, and Decore keeps the ball in but can't find a blue shirt in better. Was marshalled very, very well by two Arsenal players in White and Saliba. Here is Odegaard. Wide favour forward now for Arsenal. Declan Rice into Odegaard. And Nketiah can't pick out Rice, and now here comes Everton. Here comes Beto over halfway. Beto now on this left hand side. He's got Danjuma at the far post. If you can find him, Beto's going all alone, and Saliba just stands his ground well and wins his side of goalkeeper. That's good defending there from William Saliba up against Beto, but good play then from Everton.
Yeah, it was. They got inside the penalty area, but they don't have the support coming up quick enough. Beto's getting into the penalty area there. There should be options streaming into the penalty area for support, and he was left there. He had one player coming up there. I'm just not sure that was on the far side, but there was 4, 5, 6 Arsenal defenders back, as well as Saliba watching Beto. So Everton are not going to be able to penetrate this Arsenal defence like that. For now, this is not working for Everton. They're under constant pressure.
Yes, as Young's cross is easily claimed by David Raya. It was a fantastic ball into the penalty area, looking towards Dwight McNeil at the back post, and David Raya's ball downfield has caused Arsenal to give away a free kick. Foul on Jared Brandtway there from Bukayo Saka, but for me, if anything, I didn't see anything wrong with that challenge there from Bukayo Saka. But no shots on target.
Shoulder to me.
Yes, and no shots on target so far, Paul. That's what we're just lacking in this game, isn't it? Just shots on target. We're the goalkeeper, and who knows, one of them may end up going in.
Yeah, I think with all of Arsenal's possession and time on the ball, they're going to be wanting to create some clear-cut opportunities. Obviously, the offside goal being the one time that they were able to split open the Everton defence.
Yes, as here comes Arsenal again now with Gabriel into Saliba. Saliba just taking a touch and then rolls it out wide there to Gabriel. Gabriel switching the play brilliantly as Dwamini wins the ball back for Everton. Is Decore over the head of Declan Rice, and Decore's got away from Declan Rice here now, and he's going through and goal. Abdul Decore goes down. No penalty given. VAR will check that. I'm not sure it was a penalty as here comes Odegaard away for Arsenal. Into Trossard, who loses out, and Decore back to his feet and out to Danjuma. And Danjuma goes for goal, blocked by Gabriel. He breaks for Beto. Into just a goal again. Shot is saved by David Raya. Everton, and that's the first shot on target, and it's come after 31 minutes, Paul James.
Yeah, decent effort. He's manages to get the shot on goal. It's a comfortable save for Raya. Just going back to that penalty incident, Ross. I think Doucouré goes down too easily here. And in fact, he goes down like Gabriel's leg goes out, but he pulls it back before contact is made, and then Doucouré goes down. I'm glad the referee didn't give that.
Yeah, here's Saka now for Arsenal. And Saka goes down under the challenge of Mikalenko. And Saka wins his side of free kick on the right hand side, Everton's left. And we're just looking at this penalty decision again. And for me, Doucouré is looking for this penalty. You
Yeah,
see there, turns away from it, doesn't attempt to go where he's played the ball, just attempts to go through that gap where he's never going to get through that gap and goes down far too easily, like he said. Free kick to us on the other end now, which has got Martin Odegaard standing over it after it was won by Bukayo Saka. We'll get your thoughts on my thoughts on the penalty incident after this set piece, Paul, as we see Arsenal with 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 players inside the penalty area and Saka on the edge. He's in towards the penalty area, headed away at the near post by Tarkowski. No, it was Mikalenko headed the ball away. Martin Odegaard will leave the throw in for Ben White for Arsenal. After this attack, we'll get your thoughts, Paul, on that. My take on the penalty and see if you agree with me or you have a different view of that penalty appeal for Everton a few moments ago. As the ball goes out of play from the throw from Ben White. Poor throw there, looking for Martin Odegaard. Paul, your thoughts on my thoughts on that penalty that Everton thought they should have had a few moments ago?
well, he's definitely looking for it. I mean, he saw. I think it was William Saliba, not Gabriel. He saw William Saliba's leg come out, and he thought, "I'm going to go over now." But William Saliba pulls his leg back, so no contact is made, but Doucouré goes over. Actually, I would have liked to have seen the referee pull out a card on Doucouré there, to be honest.
Yes, I agree there, Paul. I just want to say thank you to JB who says, how well are you doing with your commentary, Russ? This is smashing, mate. Thank you very much, JB. Hopefully you're doing okay. Luke is on. He says, offside is such a depressing rule. He says, definitely looking for it. Embarrassing, really, regarding that penalty appeal there from Abdullah Doucouré. And Jiwa says, that's why you can't cheer anymore when you or someone else's team scores. VAR has stopped all that, which is absolutely true, which is what we have said, and that's why most of us, I know I do, and I think Paul does as well, likes the Championship better because in there, goal goes in, VAR, there's no VAR in the Championship, flag doesn't go up, referee doesn't give anything, goal stands, you can cheer. As soon as the ball is in there, in Premier League, you have to wait for VAR to check everything. As here comes Saka now into the path of Eddie Nketiah. Drops it to Declan Rice. Now wide for Zinchenko. Midway inside the Everton half. He's balling towards Leandro Trossard. Is poor, and that's easily claimed in the end by Pickford as the ball was shepherded back to him by Ashley Young. And Paul, your thoughts on the thing regarding VAR? And do you think Giwas is quite right there? Is because VAR stopped all that? And do you agree with me that, which I said just there, that you think Championship is better for that kind of reason?
I definitely agree with Giwas. That has put a stop to and it's bad. It's not a good thing because it takes out the emotion from the game because the event has passed. You know, when the fans then have to go and cheer, yay, we got a goal. It's not when the ball goes in the net. The emotion is there, and it's put a stop to that now, as G was rightly said. As far as I don't want to see VAR anymore. The reason why I don't want to see VAR anymore is because a lot of decisions in football are interpretation based. So what one person sees, another person sees differently. Which is generally
Yes,
why I try not to get into arguments with people on social media on things like this because everybody reads and sees the game differently, and
yes,
I
absolutely,
think
Paul.
yeah,
Is Vieira just went down holding his face there, claiming to be fouled by Beto. Martinelli returns to the subs bench. Doesn't look like too bad at the moment. We'll have to wait and see what the extent of that injury was. Probably just a precautionary measure why he went off with the Champions League clash against PSV coming up. Arsenal's next 6 is PSV at home, Tottenham at home, Brentford away, Bournemouth away, Lens away, and then Man City at home. What a run that is for Arsenal, Paul.
Oh, it's a tough one. I mean, certainly PSV is not an easy game. Any of these games in the Champions League are not easy. The North London derby, well, as whatever you might think of Spurs and whatever you might believe about the superiority of Arsenal over Spurs, it's still in my mind a very, very tough game. It's a derby, and it's a question of who wants it most, and the form book goes out the window.
Yes, as Tarkowski just helps up Bukayo Saka there, who went down after playing the ball forward and was taken out very, very late by Vitaly Mikalenko. And Mikalenko was lucky not to go into the referee's no book for that challenge, in my opinion, there. And JB says, I agree with you both on the VAR issue. I feel it hinders the emotion and the spirit of the game. Absolutely, my friend. Hopefully, JB, hopefully you're doing okay, my friend. Can't wait to have you back on the TCUP airwaves very, very shortly in the near future. Hopefully, we'll have you back on as we see Mikalenko getting ready to line up this long throwing for Everton towards Beto, who challenges Saliba well and then goes down, but Saliba comes away with the ball and no foul given there as Mikalenko just puts the ball out of plays wide, trying to get the ball down the line for Arsenal. White will take his time and look for the best option that he has got available to him. While looking to take this throw in for Arsenal. Looked at the foul throw to me there as White's foot was on the pitch when that throw in was taken by Ben White. But the referee didn't spot that. White takes it this time. Can't tell if that was a foul throw or not. As here comes Decore now for Everton. And that's a foul on Jusagana Gay by Declan Rice. And the referee gives a free kick here to Everton.
Just caught him, I think, Ross.
Yes, free kick to Everton here. It remains Everton 0, Arsenal 0 on the commentary from the Premier League. Big thank you to everyone who's tuned in today and listening to our brilliant coverage with myself, Russ Vernon, and my brilliant co-commentator, Paul James. Here is Ashley Young, who delivers a ball in towards the penalty area, headed away there by Gabriel, and now Leandro Trossard can get the ball away and getting it down the line. Trossard manages to keep hold of the ball and finds Zinchenko, who loses out, and here's Onana through Everton out wide to Decore, infield to Dwight McNeil. The former Burnley man takes his effort, which is blocked, breaks for Zinchenko. It's Fabio Vieira, and Fabio Vieira can come away with possession. With full play from Fabio Vieira. Does well. Drops it back to Zinchenko, twisting one way then the other. Goes back to Gabriel, and now Fabio Vieira just playing the ball brilliantly across field into the path of Bukayo Saka. Down the right hand side. Saka cuts in field, going one way, then the other. Bukayo Saka still going into Zinchenko. Now Declan Rice has got Ben White in space inside the penalty area. Base from Martin Odegaard. Declan Rice again. Twinkle toes from Rice into White. Gets it back from Odegaard. And Ben White shoots straight down the throat of Jordan Pickford. And that's a decent effort from Ben White. Never troubling Pickford in the end there, Paul.
First shot on goal for Arsenal. Took 40 minutes. But yes, never really, not going to trouble a goalkeeper of Jordan Pickford's magnitude. But it was a good effort, and it was a first effort on goal by the Gunners in this first period.
Yes, as Everton looking to play the ball out through Decore, trying to pick out Mikalenko. It's overrated to play down for a throw, and Jared Bransford there was on loan at PSV last season and won the Dutch Cup with them, the young Englishman there for Everton. Now playing in the Premier League with Everton as we come towards the final half minutes of the first period between Everton and Arsenal. It's been a good game despite the scoreline remaining 0-0 in the Premier League so far. As here's William Saliba finds Ben White. Down the line it goes from Ben White into Bukayo Saka. On this run as he cuts in field. Still cutting in field is Bukayo Saka, drops it back midway inside the Arsenal off to Saliba, out wide to Gabriel, and down the line it goes there into the path of Fabio Vieira, cuts in field. Vieira out wide to Gabriel, just a couple of yards in from the touchline over on that far side. He's now with William Saliba into the centre circle and across now towards Ben White, who's a couple of yards in from the touchline. He's got Rice inside, but he goes back to Saliba. And Saliba in towards the centre circle, through the centre circle to Gabriel, and better close him down into the centre circle to Saliba, who chips the ball forward, looking for the run for Bukayo Saka. Mikalenko edges the clear on as far as Odegaard to White into Declan Rice now for Arsenal. Rice, oh, fantastic for where to get away from just a corner gate. Out wide into Ben White, into Bukayo Saka, drops the ball back for Declan Rice, infield for Alexander Zinchenko. Out wide it goes to Leandro Trossard. Couple of yards in from the touchline. Couple of yards away from the penalty area. Into the penalty area now, Zinchenko. Out of the penalty area now it goes. Gabriel now. Out wide on the left hand side is Trossard, who comes in field. Tells Vieira to go outside of him, but he goes to Declan Rice instead. There does Gabriel. Here's Vieira now to Gabriel again as Arsenal just ending this first half stronger than Everton, which is what they've been throughout this match. So for Everton, like Paul mentioned earlier on, and quite rightly so, Everton are looking to try and get Arsenal on the counter-attack, and that's how they beat them last season at Goodison Park. Here is Ben White again. Zinchenko gives the ball away. Russell can't get the ball back, and now can Everton bring near the corners of Vieira nips in as Dwight McNeil tried to get the ball there for Everton. He's down the line towards Eddie Nketiah now. Nketiah twisting one way then the other. Goes to Declan Rice, who moved across to the left hand side to pick up the ball. Here is over the midfield too. Now is Ben White, who drops it to Saliba. Here is Zinchenko. Declan Rice now. Zinchenko again. Gabriel pushing forward from the back. Down the line to Trossard. Custom fielders Leandro Trossard. Back it goes into the path of Zinchenko. Cross now to Ben White. White looks up. And he'll try and get the ball forward, will he, Ben White? He's still coming forward with the ball, Ben White here now. Out wide to Bukayo Saka. Back to White. Back to Saka to go back to retrieve the ball into the centre circle and Zinchenko. The wonderful chip ball over the top for Fabio Vieira. Cuts the ball back towards Nketiah. Decore is there for Everton. And now Beto does well to get away from Declan Rice. And Alexander Zinchenko gets back well to concede a throw in. Well, that's good play from Beto. Ordered up the play well there. And winning his side of the throw in there, Paul.
Yeah, and they broke up that Arsenal attack. Arsenal had possession for a while there, and they broke up that Arsenal attack and came forward to try to create something of their own. So far, the Gunners are firing blanks right now. For all the possession that they've had, they've really created in terms of chances very little in this first half.
Yes, as here is Everton trying to get the ball forward with Branthwaite, and he oops the ball long, looking for Dwight McNeil, who flicks the ball on. Is headed away by Zinchenko and then act clear by Gabriel, but the offside flag against McNeil is up. The Everton fans aren't happy with that, as Dwight McNeil says, as Sean Ash says to his team, keep switched on, keep working mentally. Don't mentally switch off, and which is quite right to say as it comes towards the end of the first half with 0-0 remaining intact. We'll see how many minutes of stoppage time we'll get shortly. I can't say there'll be that many, but maybe just for the injury to Gabriel Martinelli. We'll
It's a VAR decision as well, Russ.
Yeah, VAR decision as well, and we'll see. Right now, we're going to get a minimum of 4 added minutes at the end of this first half. And Paul, do you think 4 minutes is right compared to what we've seen in previous weeks and matches?
Goodness me, 4 minutes is nothing compared to what we've seen in previous weeks and matches. There was 16 at I think at Villa Park yesterday in the Crystal Palace game. I'll be honest with you, it's getting a bit farcical. But yes, 4 minutes is appropriate, I think.
Yes, as Everton win a free kick for an offside against Bukayo Saka. And Branthwaite will leave it for Pickford to take, and Pickford will hit it forward, looking for the run of Beto straight down the middle, but McNeil was down there too. And Nana nips in, but it's now Gay. It was Gay who nipped in, sorry. Gay still got the ball towards the penalty area. Brian McNeil, shot is blocked by the back of Saliba. Breaks for Mikalenko now for Everton. Into Anana, what's my name? Oh, I've always wanted to get that one out at some point during this commentary, Paul, and
Oh,
I've
you
got
got
it
it
now.
out in the World Cup, Ross. You got it out in
I
the
did.
World Cup.
As Ashley Young goes into the book. First player in the book there is Ashley Young in first half stoppage time for a foul on Leandro Trossard. Paul, you take on that yellow card. Clear decision.
Yeah, it was a late challenge, and Ashley Young, for a man of his experience, not a challenge I would expect him to make, to be fair.
And Luke says, I support all this added time. And yes, I would think you do as well, my friend. As here comes Gabriel with a wonderful ball over the top. And just as I say that, the ball is over it and runs through into the path of Jordan Pickford in the Everton goalers. Mikel Arteta is applauding along his team, his efforts there, and he'll be happy with his side. He'll be happy with his possession of the Everton, but he won't be happy that they've not created much chances. We'll get the thoughts of Paul just before we leave you for half time. As better alls off his man. There's a man who's gone down holding his face. Here comes Arsenal with possession. It's Declan Rice. It's Saliba who's down, I think, as Rice gets the ball to White and then puts the ball out of play. Yes, William Saliba is down. He's holding his face in. Let's have a look at this one, Paul. Let's have a look. You just catch him a little bit there. And he's just holding. It's when he's just holding him off field. You see him there. He doesn't know. He doesn't hit him in his eye. He just catching him around on the side of his face, on his cheek, maybe.
I hate to be unsympathetic, but come on. He just, okay, he catches him a little bit, but, it's not like he swings round with all of his might and elbows him square in the eye.
Yeah, he's catching him on the side. He catches him on the cheek, if anything, for me, Paul.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry, but okay, look, he's caught him a little bit, but does he have to go down like he's been shot?
And that's the only thing. This is why this is, and he does go a point when he says this, and I'll say it after this Arsenal attack, as here comes Arsenal with the ball out wide with Fabio Vieira twisting one way then the other up against Dwight McNeil, and does it again. Does Vieira puts the ball in towards Ben White on the far post? White drops it back to Declan Rice, back into Ben White, and he's out of play for a throw. And McDad has always said to me, and I think I can see where he's coming from. The players must have acting coaches, the way to teach him how to go down in those sort of situations. Paul, I think that's probably quite right with that. As here comes Everton to try and get the ball away. It's better there. It was a free kick, but the half time to Everton, but the half time whistle is gone. So it's 0-0 at the break between Everton and Arsenal. Chances not have yet really to come from either side. Arsenal have probably had, I would say, have shaded the game in terms of possession, but at the break it's Everton 0, Arsenal 0. Paul James, before we go for a break, what's your thoughts on the first half performance of both teams as the score is 0-0 at the break?
Well, I think Sean Dyche will definitely be the happier of the two managers because his plan has worked to perfection. He's successfully. This is a Sean Dyche type performance. Defensively, very very solid for Everton. Arsenal have found it hard to create chances despite all the possession that they've had. As with usual Sean Dyche performances, he's quite happy for the opposition to have the possession of the football, and in doing so, Arsenal have been unable to create a lot. They had to wait 40 minutes really for the first shot on goal. Despite the offside goal, the one that was ruled out for offside, that was the only time really that Arsenal have really got inside that Everton defence and done anything with it. So I definitely think Sean Dyche will be the happier of the two managers at half time. I think Mikel Arteta has some thinking to do about how they're going to break down the Arsenal defence. It's a tricky one, but I think the second half will prove interesting for sure.
Yes, so as me and Paul leave you then until the second half starts, we leave you with the scoreline. Everton 0, Arsenal 0. Where to do for Arsenal? They ought to play down this Everton defence. Everton just need to find that breakthrough goal. Half time, Everton 0, Arsenal 0. Welcome back to the Current Troops coverage of the game between Everton and Arsenal. The scoreline is 0-0 at the break. Obviously, Everton will probably be happy. Sean Dyche, as Paul mentioned just for half time, will probably be the happier of the two sides, with the scoreline being 0-0 and happy of the two managers. And Everton will probably be happier of the two players and teams. With regards to Arsenal then, Paul, and we'll fetch Paul back in quickly. Obviously, we've already seen an injury to Gabriel Martinelli and seen Leandro Trossard come on, but we've got the likes of Kai Havertz, Reece Nelson, Emil Smith Rowe, Gabriel Jesus on the bench who can change things as well. Do you think Arsenal will be the next man and Arteta will be the next manager to blink and to change things if he's not working in the first 15 minutes? Or do you think Everton will try and change something, try and get that goal first? Who do you think will be the next manager to make a substitution?
Well, I think if it carries on the same way, I think Mikel Arteta will make a change. I don't think it's really in the centre forward position that the change is needed. I think it's more around the creativity leading up to and creating the chances to begin with. I might look at Emil Smith Rowe as an option, Kai Havertz, Jorginho as possible options if things continue the way that they are.
Yes, and we're just looking at the Everton penalty claim again here, Paul. I'm just looking at that again. Decore went through, went down, and I'm just looking here again and just looking for this. If anything, I'm just looking at this very, very slowly now. If anything, he runs into the leg of Saliba, and he's expecting Saliba's leg to come across him and to take him out, which he doesn't do, and he went down for 2 reasons. I was surprised that referee Simon Hooper didn't produce a yellow card, which we know last season he was very card happy, 100 yellow cards last season. I'm surprised he's only given one yellow card in this game to Ashley Young, when I thought that Decore could have got one for diving in the end,
Yeah.
Paul.
I agree. I think he should have been given a yellow card. I'm sick of seeing this in football now. I'm sick of seeing players going down, feigning injury and feigning fouls to try to get an unfair advantage, to try to get penalties, free kicks, and red cards. I'm sick and tired of seeing it. We saw it with Saliba at the end of the first half. He went down like he'd been hit by a Mack truck. I'm sick. I'm sick of seeing it, and I think referees need to become harder on it, even if it means producing a second yellow and sending the person off. I think it needs to be clamped down on more than it is doing, because football's becoming a circus at the moment. The way this is carrying on.
Yes, and if we just quickly look at the stats in that first half, Paul, we had 4 attempts to Everton, 3 on 3 for Arsenal, and we had 1 attempt on target each as Everton get ready to take the second kickers off for the second half. Abdoulaye Doucouré to kick us off, running through the team's short plays. Doucouré to kick off. No changes, it looks like, for both sides as the start of the second half, as the balls are pumped along from Everton looking towards better, and Rice was bad there to head the ball away. Eddie Nketiah brings the ball down under his spell and finds Bukayo Saka. First chance for Arsenal at the start of this second half. Can also continue where they left off by on the front foot and attacking the Everton defence. And Zinchenko makes a brilliant run on the overlap. Puts the ball in towards the penalty, headed away by Branthwaite. It's cleared up towards halfway and Gabriel to Rice. Now here is Saliba. William Saliba drops the ball into Leandro Trossard. It's Everton will have to do some defending. It's Arsenal made their way forward. Wonderful bit of play to Zinchenko. Wonderful chip ball into the path of Fabio Vieira. Pulls the ball back across. Oh, and we're no one inside the 6-yard box there for Arsenal. Come to Saka, keeps the move alive. Rice into Odegaard. Martin Odegaard shot saved by Pickford. Comes out. Fabio Vieira strikes just over. But Arsenal really, well, Fabio Vieira should be leading inside a minute inside the second half, Paul.
Yeah, I think Saka might have tried shooting there instead of trying to play the ball across. Odegaard found the first bit of space he has in the penalty area, and this is where Everton have had a warning shot fired across their bow because Martin Odegaard has a habit of scoring in and around the penalty area, and he was left with a lot of space, and it was a good save by Pickford.
Yes, good save in the end from Jordan Pickford, but Arsenal really should be 1-0 ahead here in the Premier League game. He's better now, brings it down under his spell well and attacks. He gets blocked off there by Gabriel, and Gabriel could go into the yellow card booking here for the Everton, for the Arsenal defender. Blocked him off there better, but I'm not surprised. I'm surprised he's getting a yellow card here because there was one similar in the Leeds game earlier, right? Ryan Leonard did similar on Lonto, and he wasn't buffy, whereas this one here is being buffed. I can see why, with how high it was, right on his chin. I can see why he's been buffed there, Paul. Clear decision and a free kick to Everton coming up.
Yeah, I think so. He also moved towards the player. He didn't attempt to get out of the way of the player. He moved towards the player. I think that's a fair decision, actually.
Yes, we'll run you through the teams when we get a stoppage in play, but it's been a frantic first couple of minutes of the start of this second half. Young delivers the ball in towards the penalty area, flicked away by the boot of Saliba. Decore up against Ben White. It comes all the way back as Ashley Young has the ball again. Young, first time ball in towards the penalty area, over the top towards Decore, and White goes down on the challenge of Onana, and the referee gives a free kick to Arsenal. As we now just be able to run you through the two sides. It's Pickford in goal for Everton. Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite to Mikalenko across the back. It's McNeil, Gay, and Nana and Danjuma in midfield. Decore behind Better. As for Arsenal's rear in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko. Odegaard, Rice, Vieira, Saka and Ketia and Trossard on for the injured. Gabriel, Martinelli, Simon Hooper is our man on in the middle, with the man down at Stockley Park for this one, Stuart Adwell on VAR duty, as here comes Arsenal on the front foot with Gabriel. He finds William Saliba inside the centre circle and sprays a wonderful pass out wide to the right hand side from Bukayo Saka into Martin Odegaard. Odegaard just keeps the ball in play up against Branthwaite. Odegaard back to Ben White. White looking for options. Goes into Bukayo Saka, who can't turn away there from Mikalenko, breaks for Rice, into Martin Odegaard, sprays it to this left and Zinchenko, lines up a shot, Zinchenko shot is blocked, Zinchenko's there again, Better back defending and Better, the striker, back inside his own penalty area there. Everton, every time Arsenal have an attack, get on everybody behind the ball and blocking the shot off here. As we see this shot again, it looked like he may have struck the arm of James Tarkowski, but his arm was too close to his body, and that's why the penalty wasn't given there for handball against James Tarkowski, as the ball played forward by Ashley Young. Sees Saliba drop it back to Raya, back into Saliba, into Gabriel as Arsenal build from the back and try and come forward. Over the top there of Better, out of play for throwing to Arsenal, Zinchenko to take. 5 minutes of the second half gone, Paul, and it's the first real chance for me to get your thoughts on the opening 5 minutes of the second half after a frantic first 5 minutes.
Yeah, better start by Arsenal in the second half. Already created that one chance for Odegaard. And of course, I think Everton will have to be very, very careful of Martin Odegaard because he's known for it now within the league. That inside the penalty area, outside the penalty area, he's going to pick up the ball. He's going to try to shoot. But Arsenal building up, they look a lot better in the second half in terms of the creativity and their chances. Let's see if it can pay dividends for them. As for Everton, well, they're just continuing what they're doing, defending very, very well, as you said, getting in the way of the shots.
Yes, it is White to find Martin Odegaard, who looks to turn away from his man into Bukayo Saka. Saka's still going. Branthwaite's down. Odegaard picks up the loose ball. He breaks for Alexander Zinchenko. Our now to Leandro Trossard on this left-hand side for Arsenal. Trossard inside the penalty, puts the ball in. Cleared away. Breaks into the path of Zinchenko. Arsenal knocking on the Everton door, but no one opening it for them just yet. Here's Ben White. What can White do? Can he unlock the Everton door for Arsenal? Here's Zinchenko with a ball over the top for Trossard. Straight through to Pickford, who chests it down and then claims down the second attempt. 51.5 minutes scoring remains. Everton 0, Arsenal 0, and a good start for both sides. Everton defensively, Arsenal attacking and looking to have a bit more creativity and a bit more oomph in their attacks as they go forward. As he is just going to get the ball out wide to Danjuma. Danjuma cuts in field. Plays a 1-2 with Beto. Zinchenko's there. Who takes down Beto. Trossard's there. Young gets the ball back for Everton. Into the path of Branthwaite inside the centre circle. Also in the centre circle is Onana. As it is Everton just knocking the ball around well. Neil had to come back to try and get the ball for Everton as Mikalenko just watches the ball go out and play for a throw-in. Saka leaves it for Ben White to take. Over on that far side. Everton 0, Arsenal 0 in the Premier League here on the commentary. Them of alternative commentaries. Russ Vernon alongside me is Paul James, your commentary team here on the commentary for this Premier League encounter. As here comes Leandro Trossard. Trossard turns away and now he can bring the ball forward. Leandro Trossard running brilliantly. Plays the ball out wide to Fabio Vieira. Vieira coming forward for Arsenal. He has to go bad though. No route forward for him there. He goes to Zinchenko's coming forward now. Zinchenko across to Declan Rice. Rice out wide to Bukayo Saka. Saka twisting one way, then the other. Drops it to Rice, who's got Odegaard outside. White outside too. Back into Saka. Ball in towards the penalty. Trossard sends it back across. And an important interception from Tarkowski. And then Young to stop Arsenal getting on end of that and punishing Everton there as Arsenal win themselves a throw-in, which Zinchenko has come forward to take for the midway in level with the penalty area on this left hand, on the near side left. This time, Arsenal's left is the near side, Arsenal's right is the far side. Everton's left is the far side, Everton's right is the near side. For those listening to our coverage today for this second half, Everton 0, Arsenal 0. 54 minutes gone, and it's been a fantastic match despite the scoreline remaining 0-0. Pause the tap of that, Stuart. How well is our man on VAR duty today? I'll try and find out for you, Luke, to tell you about it a bit later on, to tell you who's the official for your match tomorrow against Burnley, between Nottingham Forest and Burnley. We'll try and bring you that information when we get to next stoppage in play, when you through the officials for the game tomorrow, which hopefully we'll have covered on the channel with Mike Orneman, hopefully back behind the mic, no pun intended there, tomorrow for us here on the commentary. It's been a while since we've had Mike bring you some commentary. Hopefully we'll have that tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get confirmation a bit later on. When I spoke yesterday, he did confirm that was going to be the case. I'll confirm later and put it out on our social media at Commentary Live 1 over on Twitter or X, whichever you want to call it these days. As here comes Arsenal in possession with Declan Rice out wide. It goes to Bukayo Saka. Declan Rice again. Further out wide there. He went for Ben White and he's now back to Saliba. On to Zinchenko. Zinchenko with the ball over the top looking for Leandro Trossard, who's onside. Trossard inside the penalty area. Pulls the ball straight across the face. Comes out to Vieira. Shot is blocked. Cleared away, but the flag is up against Leandro Trossard for offside there. And when you look at this ball here, Paul, you can see it. He's clearly in an offside position as that ball is played over the top there from Zinchenko.
Yeah, a bit naive by Trossard, caught out very easily there. But just looking at the play as it was building up, again, it's really good defensive play by Everton. Blocking the shots, getting the men in the way, doing the little things right that are stopping Arsenal right now.
Yes, and we'll wait for this Everton free kick to be taken by Jordan Pickford, the referee for Nottingham Forest Burnley. For those interested, is Robert Jones, Ian Hussein and Wade Smith are his assistants. Thomas Bramall is the fourth official. VAR is Darren England, assisted by one of today's assistants, Adrian Holmes. So there's your officials for Nottingham Forest against Burnley, which is Monday Night Football this week, which hopefully we'll have here on the commentary for you this weekend, this Monday evening, to bring our conclusion to the Premier League action this weekend to a close. So yeah, and our first commentary is back after the international break as well. For you. So there were no international coverage during the international break. There were none of our amazing commentators were available to bring you any. Bukayo Saka is down injured, holding his face as he's helped to his feet there by Dwight McNeil. The two number sevens collided, and two number sevens help, and then Everton number 7 helps also number 7 up, and also have a free kick, which White takes back to Saliba, and now finds Alexander Zinchenko.
Well, I think Arsenal again. It's a pressure that they're building up. Oh, just a minute.
Yes, here comes Everton to win the ball back, and he's Arsenal now on the attack. He's Eddie Nketiah's helper. Eddie Nketiah shoots, takes deflection behind for a corner, and Everton almost got out again there. Paul, brilliant bit of play then from Arsenal to win the ball back, get the ball through to Eddie Nketiah, and almost punishing Everton there.
Yeah, but again, it was sloppy on the edge of the box, but good work by James Tarkowski getting in the way of Nketiah's shot there. Good piece of defending there.
Yes, I think here actually Jared Branthwaite who came across there poorly, but nevertheless, good piece of defending from the Everton defence. There's Everton have got majority of the players back inside the penalty area, also got majority of players inside the penalty area. Basically, Zinchenko on the edge of the box, comes to Nketiah, shot deflected behind off Branthwaite for another corner. And Arsenal now beginning to pile on this pressure with a second consecutive corner in very quick succession here.
Yeah,
As we get ready for these corners to be taken.
I think the chances are going to need to be created here. It's still at a premium for Arsenal, but they are at least shooting a little bit more now.
Yes, Saka to take the corner then from the far side. Delivers it low to Leandro Trossard. Trossard back to the edge of the box. But Zinchenko's shot is deflected. He's behind for another corner. And it's a corner. I think VAR may be checking for a possible penalty here. Zinchenko's claiming for an handball here. Let's have a look at this. From James Tarkowski's arm there. He strikes his arm. For me, Paul, that's the penalty. I think VAR are going to be checking this. For your thoughts?
Yeah, his arm is out. And he moves his arm out to make that block. The only question is whether or not it's inside the penalty area. You'll have to. If he's inside the D, is that a penalty?
It depends where he is. It depends where he is, folks. If he's on the line, he scatters inside the box. But the penalty's not being given. No penalty there for Arsenal for no handball. Fabio Vieira and Martin Odegaard standing over this corner kick for Arsenal. Vieira takes it to Odegaard. Attacking the penalty area, drops the ball back for Zinchenko, shot headed away, Saka there to Zinchenko. How wide is Fabio Vieira? Vieira chips the ball into the back post, heads go from Branthwaite, Mikalenko lets it bounce and sees Pickford come to claim it, and Pickford with a wonderful throw to send Doucouré away, can get an end of this one, and he has. Doucouré over on that far side for Everton. Far side there left with reinforced back as Branthwaite now finds Ashley Young coming up to us over halfway on this near side of the right into Dwight McNeil. Now it's Idrissa Gana again into Onana. What's my name? Litigating again, Paul, as it is Onana again. How wide it goes to Mikalenko. I'll stop it one of these days, Paul, as the ball's played down the line as the ball is into us. Danjuma, Saliba has to get back to Raya, and now is Declan Rice. And now Mikalenko fouls Ben White. He then kicks the ball away, so I'm surprised he's not been booked there for kicking the ball away and or for the foul there on Ben White.
Yeah, I'd like to see a look at that penalty again. I'm not sure if it was a penalty decision. I'm not sure if it was inside or outside the area. If it was inside the area, for me, that's definitely a penalty. Arm out is a penalty. But if, of course, I mean, I'm not 100% sure if it's inside the area. I'd just like to get another look at that, to be honest.
Yes, I don't think we will do at the moment. Paul is Arsenal coming forward again here. Trying to unlock this Everton door. 61.5 minutes gone here. Remains Everton nil, Arsenal nil. If you just tuned into us here on the commentary of Russ Vernon, and alongside me, the voice you've just heard there is Paul James. You're two of the best up and coming commentators, even if I do say so myself. You know, Paul is a very good commentator and in his own right, and has been very good on Arsenal matches this season. That's why we allowed him to join us today for the co-commentary duty on this Arsenal match. As here comes the ball over the top, looking towards Fabio Vieira, who can't go on any of that ball as Tarkowski watches it go out. Who poses for the cameras as Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets ready to come on for Everton. That could prove to be the difference in the final third for Everton in the final few minutes. I wonder if he's going to be for Beto, who will come on for here, Paul. And if he is for Beto, how does it rate Beto's performance today, Paul?
Well, he's obviously been starved for service because I mean the majority of the game Everton have dominated. Sorry, Arsenal have dominated the game in the Everton half of the field. The few chances that Everton have had coming forward, but what I've seen of Beto so forward, he's looked lively. He's looked fairly lively, and I think he's probably done a lot of running, and I think the time is right to make the change. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a threat goal scoring wise, and is capable of nicking a goal for you.
Yes, as Adrissa Ganagay wins his side, a free kick foul there on him by, I think it was Fabio Vieira, who was coming back to try and help out the Arsenal defence. Ashley Young will line up this free kick for Everton. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 outside the penalty area, joined by Tarkowski and Branthwaite, all inside the D of those Everton bodies. Couple inside couple on the far side. Tarkowski going round to the far side of the penalty area. The far left is Everton. Look, as Dwyman Neal standing over this. Ashley Young there too. It will be Young. This up towards James Tarkowski. Heads go up. Cleared away by Arsenal. Headed again by Mikalenko and then Onana. It breaks now for Mikalenko, who just keeps the ball in play, acts it down the field. And there's a man down for Arsenal here. I'm trying to work out who it is. There's an head injury, so the referee stopped it for an head injury. Man on the field here for Arsenal. And the man who's down here is Gabriel. And he just gets caught on the top of the head as Tarkowski goes for the challenge. Nothing, no malice in that. But rises to stop it with it being a head injury there.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like he took a knock in the back of the head. Probably wasn't expecting that either. They just need to take the time here now and just making sure that he's okay. It looked like a pretty unpleasant knock. Looks like action on the Arsenal bench as well. Gabriel Jesus is readying himself, so like for like striker change here.
Yes, Arsenal. It looks like they're going to be blinking first, and it's Eddie Nketiah, the player coming off for Arsenal, to be replaced by Gabriel Jesus. So that's like for like in the attacking sense for Arsenal. Striker off for striker. Gabriel Jesus, the Brazilian, looking to get onto the goal scoring form. And then also number 14, Beto for number 9, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the Everton change. So 14 for 9 is changes that both managers have decided to make. Beto and then Nketiah coming off for Everton and Arsenal respectively, with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Gabriel Jesus coming on to the attack now. It'd be interesting to see how those changes affect the game and see if any of those changes can unlock the door of both defences. As here comes Mikalenko for Everton and wins his side of throwing. It come off Bukayo Saka, who chucked the ball away from where the free kick should have been, from where the throw should have been taken. Mikalenko walks back to the correct position and will launch this into the penalty area, I would imagine. I was shaping up for this one. And he does launch it into the penalty area towards Calvert-Lewin at the near post. The Corey's there, breaks for Calvert-Lewin. Danjuma strikes the goal just over the bar. But on that Danjuma from the edge of the penalty area. And on that Danjuma going close there, Paul. But very unlucky not to trouble the goalkeeper.
Yeah, chance on the edge of the area. It's the chances have been at a premium for Everton in this game. But yeah, it was a good effort just over Ray's bar.
Yes, and when David Ray yet to really make a save on his Arsenal debut. Pickford is yet to really make a save as well, as he is Bukayo Saka who puts the ball in. He deflects behind for an Arsenal corner, and that's good play from the England man on that far side. And Jared Branthwaite, another Englishman, coming across to put a block on it as Arsenal win a corner. 6-7 minutes gone here. It's Everton 0, Arsenal 0. And despite it being 0-0, I agree with what G Waz has said. Yes, not the best of games, but he says Arsenal strikers at the moment are worse than Everton's because Arsenal getting into positions and failing to tail the lines, and you've got to put that down to the strikers and the players in that finishing position. As here comes Arsenal Shaw Connors, putting by Odegaard. Edge drop, go up there, and Cameron dropped it back to Pickford, and now can Everton break quickly at Pickford, boosted long, looking for the run of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who challenges Gabriel and Saliba, but Saliba wins the header against Calvert-Lewin. And here's Leandro Trossard, gets the ball out wide, brilliantly to Bukayo Saka on that far side, the right. Takes on Mikalenko, Bukayo Saka, and honours a cross there, plays it out. It's going to be a corner kick to Arsenal. But for me, I want to see this one again because for me, it looked as though it came off Bukayo Saka there. The referee and the linesman is giving a corner. We're not going to see a replay of that one there. So I don't think this should be a corner, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with this one here. Rice is inside the penalty area. Gabriel, White, Saliba, Trossard, Jesus, Vieira on the edge, Odegaard and Saka over the corner. And Saka takes it to Odegaard. Odegaard lays off to Fabio Vieira, to Zinchenko, Odegaard, Saka, well worked from Arsenal. Trossard! Oh, that's a well worked goal! Arsenal take the lead, and this one will count. No offside involved in this one. And it's Leandro Trossard, the Belgian and the substitute, who has given Arsenal a 1-0 lead here on 69 minutes. Everton 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, this as you say, Ross. This was a really well worked goal. This was classic Arsenal. Look at the passing and the build up, and the pull back here to Trossard that was waiting to just smash the ball past Pickford and give Arsenal the 1-goal lead. Well, for a change, and just for a change in this match, Everton's defence sort of fell asleep a little bit, left Trossard here. He had a lot of space in front of him, hit it on the one-timer, no chance for Pickford. And Arsenal take the lead at Goodison Park.
Yes, Everton 0, Arsenal 1. Leandro Trossard with the goal. And Trossard has finally found the back of the net for Arsenal this season. Not really found the net this season much as Leandro Trossard for Arsenal. And he'll be looking to do that this more often as Arsenal are in the lead now. Everton will be thinking if only we could have to one of their main chances, some of the chances that they did have, they could have been in the lead themselves, but instead they are behind as here comes Ashley Young now for Everton. And just gonna get loses out, and now Arsenal can counter-attack. Here, Trossard. Yes, his second goal of the campaign, his first league goal, having scored in the Community Shield against Manchester City, which Arsenal won 4-1 on penalties. He scored in the 90 plus 11 minutes, 69 minutes this time around for Leandro Trossard to open the scoring for Arsenal. Fantastic goal as here comes Ashley Young. Now, here's James Tarkowski. Ball is it forward, looking for the run there of Brian McNeil. Here comes Everton again. It's just a Garnagay. Loses out, but Garnagay tries to get the ball back after it was his ball that it was poor and cut out. Here's Tarkowski, who could have let that run for Pickford, but Tarkowski decided, I'm going to take control, and Pickford, you can now have this as an honour, who drops it into his path, and then spreads the ball wonderfully to find Mikalenko, who brings it down well. It's out of penalty. Mikalenko shot. He deflects off William Saliba. It's behind for a corner to Everton, and that is good play from Pickford. Behind Mikalenko, and Mikalenko did absolutely fantastic to win the corner.
Yeah, he just managed to bring it down well, did Mikalenko. Route 1 football from Everton, and good challenge there by Saliba as well to block out that attack.
Yes, and I'm beginning to wonder, Paul, and I'll say what I'm beginning to wonder in just a moment after we see this corner kick for Everton, which will be taken on that far side there by Danjuma, who put the ball into the box, and then Odegaard's gone down in there. I'm wondering, Paul, if Everton's best route to goal in this game is those sort of route ones over the top from Pickford, from the defenders, getting behind Arsenal that way, rather than trying to play the way through them and try and play the way around them. Because also, when you try and play the way around them, they seem to have players everywhere, and a couple of players blocking those sort of triangles. Maybe route 1 is the way forward, or set pieces for the way forward for Everton to get back into this game.
Yeah, it might be especially with the way Arsenal press forward. They press forward in numbers, so that may be the best way to break them down. We'll wait and see, but it was smart thinking by Pickford anyway.
Yes, as here comes Arsenal in possession. Wonder what they can do here now. Here they come. It's Gabriel playing it forward to find Leandro Trossard. Trossard infield for Rice. Back to Gabriel. Luis Vieira. Here's Rice though. And Rice plays a wonderful pass to pick out Bukayo Saka. It's got right on the overlap. Saka goes to Odegaard instead. Odegaard to White this time. Ben White is out of the penalty. Chips the ball up towards the back post. And Vieira should have left that for Leandro Trossard. But Vieira didn't. He went to try and go for a goal himself and fluffed his lines.
Well, perhaps he didn't get a shout from Trossard. But yes, he'd have certainly been better off leaving it.
Yes, but Arsenal again, Paul. Good play down the right. Good ball in. Just the end product is lacking in the moment. Here's Vieira and Saka to win the ball back. Here's Odegaard now. Martin Odegaard in towards the penalty area. Just going to gets the ball away. And here's Abdoulaye Doucouré. And now Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Always up the play well. Just the big number 9 for Everton. But Ben White is bad there too. Win the ball back and find David Raya. And Raya will build from the back for Arsenal and find Gabriel, who can fetch this ball forward. Here's Alexander Zinchenko for Arsenal. Finds Declan Rice. How wide it goes into the path of Ben White. Back to Declan Rice and midway inside the Arsenal half. Across now to the left and to Gabriel. They're not going to take it back now, y'all. And he's gone bad this time. Saliba across to the right. Rice. The right is White. To the left. And Declan Rice now, y'all. It is Saliba now. Across to the left. And it is Gabriel. Back to Saliba. And now David Raya. Into Zinchenko. Gabriel. Good footwork this from Arsenal. Zinchenko to Gabriel this time. There's a ball over the top looking for Gabriel Jesus is onside. Gabriel Jesus is onside inside the penalty. And Mikalenko fantastically well gets back to cover there for Everton and break up that Arsenal attack and can try and set Everton on an attack of their own as a ball is over the top looking for Danjuma, should I say. Danjuma controls well up against Zinchenko. Danjuma goes infield to the edge of the box. Is just going again, and again strikes and just over the top in the end. But better from Everton that Paul. Just then product lacked.
Yeah, Mikalenko started off with him doing brilliantly shutting down Gabriel Jesus here. No mean feat. Good defending. Just puts himself in front of Mikolenko, in front of Jesus perfectly legally, and starts off that move for Everton. And the end product was lacking, but it was at least some movement by Everton to try to get themselves back into this game.
Yes, as here is Arsenal with Gabriel dropping the ball forward into Fabio Vieira. Back to Gabriel, who clears the ball forward. Trossard gets in towards Odegaard. And now Everton gives the ball away to Trossard. And now Odegaard's through. Martin Odegaard inside the penalty. Martin Odegaard should have been two. Bricks for Vieira. Can he make it two? No. Fantastic block by Mikolenko. Arsenal really should be 2-0 up there, Paul James.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A good chance for Martin Odegaard here. Good save, to be fair, by Pickford. And again, the follow and Mikolenko has just been all over the place for Everton today. Like, he's just been absolutely brilliant in getting shots away, blocking, tackling. He's done a sterling job for the Blues today. Part of the reason why the score is only 1-0, to be fair. But a chance for Odegaard, good save by Jordan Pickford.
Yes, and Fabio Vieira and Martin Odegaard standing over this corner kick for Arsenal. Vieira takes it to Odegaard. Odegaard drops it back to Fabio Vieira, takes a touch and whips a dangerous ball in towards the penalty area. Pickford can only punch it clear to Rice. Now White and Rice again. Declan Rice drops the ball back into Zinchenko, can take a touch and play it out wide to Fabio Vieira, who turns well, holding up the challenge and goes down there. Fabio Vieira, free kick to Arsenal, foul on Fabio Vieira by Ashley Young, and is a free kick. Arsenal making a double substitution here. Kai Havertz and Takiro Tomiyasu are about to come on for Arsenal any moment now. And I think the changes that they're going to be making here is with the Champions League game in sight on Wednesday evening. Is why the changes could be made here. As we see David Raya with possession. And here they come with Gabriel, who hits the ball forward. Wonderful ball over the top. Leandro Trossard's in there. Pickford's there. Here is, but the offside flag is raised there against Leandro Trossard. Young leaves it for Pickford. Free kick to Everton. But first, more substitutions, this time for Arsenal. And there's one coming for Everton as well here. Arsenal's first. Sees number 35, Alexander Zinchenko, be replaced by Takiro Tomiyasu. And this is a good change there. And the other change is Fabio Vieira come off for Kai Havertz. Double change there for Arsenal. Havertz and Tomiyasu coming on for Zinchenko and Vieira. And there's going to be a change for Everton as well in a moment. And that's James Garner stood on the touchline there. It is. James Garner is on. Abdoulaye Doucouré is off. And the changes have happened. 10 minutes left to play. Remains Everton 0, Arsenal 1. And Paul, if I can just get your thoughts on how well Fabio Vieira has played today for Arsenal.
Yeah, he's been very creative, hasn't he, in the midfield, and it's helped to control the midfield and create build-up play for the front line. I think he's done a very, very good job all in all, actually, Ross. I think he's played very, very well. I think it's just been the final ball with Arsenal for much of this game, really. And I think the change to bring Kai Havertz on maybe to add some extra creativity, not just with the Champions League game in mind.
Yes, and be interesting to see how this does go on here. As here comes Arsenal with White, drops the ball back into the centre-back and Saliba, across to David Raya, who's playing as a sweeper keeper now, one of the defenders. Raya into Saliba, now Rice, who turns and plays a ball to Gabriel. Now onto the path of Trossard. Infield, it goes there, but given away. Here comes Everton, but they've given the ball away now. And Odegaard gets Bukayo Saka away up against Mikalenko. They were brilliant, Mikalenko, today for Everton, but Branthwaite's there to help out Mikalenko. And Mikalenko's there this time, clearing the ball away. Almost getting a mistake there, but Branthwaite does well to win the free kick. Foul by Gabriel Jesus. 9.5 minutes left to play in this match. Is 8.5 minutes left to play in this match, should I say. It's Everton 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, it's. I think Arsenal have kind of again dominated the second half possession wise, not really created too many chances. More than they have in the first. They've been better there in that respect. Odegaard's had a chance, Saka's had a chance. They've created some good saves from the goalkeeper, but Everton have defended very, very resolutely. And as I said, Vitaly Mikalenko, in no small part of that. Everton just haven't created enough going forward to get themselves back into this game. I'd say Arsenal are comfortable right now.
Yes, Arsenal, like Paul says, comfortable in possession at the moment. And they're just playing it around at the back. Here comes Arsenal to attack down that far side. Out of play for a throw-in to be taken by Ben White. As we see the game between Everton and Arsenal unfold. Everton 0, Arsenal 1. Ben White to take the throw-in. Good long throw down the line, looking for the run of Jesus, but Everton come away with possession. Here's James Garner, who slips on the ball and loses out. But the referee is given a free kick there. Unsure why that's been given as a free kick. It's Garner just slipped on the ball, and Young is leaving this free kick to his goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford, to take. And with the Pickford taking, every outfield player for Everton is inside the Arsenal half of the field. And this is a big risk, because if Arsenal get the ball back, they can just break and counter-attack. Ball's helped along the way. Branthwaite's in there, Tarkowski in there too. And Arsenal just said, clear the ball away. Gabriel chasing down this ball. Gabriel Jesus, that is. And down the line from Young into Garner. Garner off of Tomiyasu, breaks for David Raya, who claims it remains Everton 0, Arsenal 1. And Arsenal just coming forward again here now with Martin Odegaard into the path of Rice and Gabriel. Down the line it goes to Trossard. Infield it goes again to Jesus. And now Saliba. Good play this one. Down the line is Ben White. Good play this from Everton to make sure Arsenal can't go forward and force them backwards at all times. As they are doing again here now. No outlet for Arsenal at the moment, so they've had to go all the way back to David Raya to try and build again. And now this is an outlet as Odegaard's got over halfway on the far side. Plays it to Bukayo Saka. Inside is Ben White. Across to Kai Havertz. Havertz has Trossard outside of him. Gets the ball back from Trossard. Havertz, ball over the top. Did he go out? He did. Goal kick to Everton. 5 minutes to go. Still trained by a goal to nil. And I'm just seeing there's going to be no choice for player of the match today from Paul James. He's got 2 players in mind. We'll have to wait and see who he gives it to a little bit later on. There's one from an Everton perspective, one from an Arsenal perspective. We'll see how which one he will give that to when he gets when we ask him for his player of the match in round about what? Coming towards 86 minutes. Give it to the 90th minute mark, Paul, to make your decision. So you've got round about 4 minutes to make a decision for your player of the match.
It is a tough one, Ross. It is a tough one.
Yes, and from the two options they've just put to, that I've just seen there, Paul, I can understand why you've gone for him from an Everton perspective and him from an Arsenal perspective, but I won't say more than that.
All right.
Then he leaves people on 10 to which two players which player from each team you picked then. There's a free kick here. Gabriel Jesus has been spoken to with James Tarkowski. And Simon Upper's just having a word with the players here. Tarkowski and Jesus, who's shake hands. Here now, I'm just trying to work out where this is. Everton are making another substitution, which sees number 18, Ashley Young, be replaced by Nathan Patterson, and that's that's done really, really well as Ashley Young today. And there's another change here with Yusuf Chimete coming on, and it's Dwight McNeil making way for Chimete, and that's going to be a good. Those two have worked well for Everton today. Just been unlucky with the final decisions on their balls into the penalty area going forward. Pickford with a free kick for Everton just inside the Arsenal half. So every single Everton player on the field of play is inside their opposition's half as Ray comes for clears away with a free kick fouled by Tarkowski on David Raya, who gets high fives from two of his Arsenal teammates in Ben White and Gabriel. And for me, Paul, if anything there, it was Gabriel who fouled him.
Yeah, well, I don't think the foul was on the goalkeeper, to be honest. I just wonder if he was given the foul by Tarkowski on Gabriel. There was a bit of shirt pulling. It was a bit of 6-1. There wasn't really a lot going on there, to be honest.
Yes, Everton 0, Arsenal 1, and despite there only being one goal, it's been a very good match this afternoon for us all to watch and for me and Paul to provide coverage of and commentary of for you as the ball is played forward by Arsenal and is half forward by Declan Rice looking for the run of Gabriel Jesus down the left hand side. Jesus keeps the ball in play, but only to Everton is Pickford with a long ball forward looking for the run of Dominic Calvert-Lewin who flicks it on. Schmidt is in behind there. Can he get an end of that? He can't. Ray reads that and he comes out brilliantly and clears the ball out there. And we have now received the verdict on who's going to be our player of the match, and we'll get the thoughts of Paul with his announcement of that as soon as we're at the 90-minute mark. And we'll see who Paul has given his player of the match to. You've just got around about 40 seconds left to wait to find out who Paul has given his player of the match to, unless there's an attack on. As here comes Everton with the double is Tommy Yasu on the left hand side for Arsenal, since coming on for Zinchenko's. Patterson comes forward. It's the penalty for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin strikes towards goal and he goes just wide in the end from Everton's number 9. And that's another good chance for Everton. Gone begging.
Yeah, I think he was kind of caught between two minds whether to shoot or pass there. And he ended up with the outside of the boot doing neither. But it was a good move by Everton, building up good football, finding Dominic Calvert-Lewin there.
Yes, as we enter 4 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this match then between Everton and Arsenal. And while the ball's just challenging, while the ball's just going to play for Everton throw-in, it's my time to ask Paul James for his player of the match today. Paul.
Goes to Everton's number 19, Vitaly Mykolenko. It's been outstanding defensively for Everton today. Just brilliant from start to finish. He's blocked a lot of the Arsenal balls into the box. I think Arsenal have struggled a little bit today to create chances, in no small part to the way Vitaly Mykolenko has been playing.
Yes, Vitaly Mykolenko is our player of the match, sponsored by the brilliant commentary services which is owned by Barry Swain, one of our very good friends. And Barry helps us out behind the scenes. So a big thank you to Barry for that, for his tremendous work as the ball is out of play for a throw-in to Arsenal as they move down the right-hand side. If you agree with Paul's choice of Vitaly Mikalenko as your player of the match, do let us know. If you disagree with him, let us know who would get your pick for player of the match. As the ball is cleared away, we'll tell you who they picked from a Arsenal point of view in just a moment. Arsenal with a free kick. I'm not sure if he's getting for a foul on Leandro Trossard or for the foul on Gabriel Jesus, who remains down. I think he's on Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal have a free kick, went to the second minute of stoppage time, and I can tell you the play which he had in mind from an Arsenal standpoint was the goal scorer Leandro Trossard, and we'll get your thoughts on why Trossard was up there from your point of view in a moment, Paul. But we'll see how this free kick fares for Arsenal. We've played just over 2 minutes of the 4 additional added minutes as Arsenal try and hold it in the corner, but Chimetin Everton get the ball back and he's cleared up towards Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who does absolutely fantastic to hold over the play, but can't keep the ball in play. Runs it out of play. Arsenal with a throw-in. And Paul, why was Trossard up there for player of the match? And what made it? And why did you not choose him over Mikalenko for your player of the match?
Well, he was the biggest threat for Arsenal, I think. Since he come on for Martinelli, I think he's been Arsenal's biggest threat throughout the game. The reason why I chose Mikalenko over Trossard
We'll get
is
back to that in a moment, Paul. But as Arsenal just win themselves a throwing over on that far side. We'll come back to your point in a moment as we see a shot of Everton fans leaving the stadium in droves, moving away from the stadium with less than a minute left to play. And you can understand them wanting to be the traffic it is. Jesus inside the penalty area. It's put behind. It's a corner to Arsenal, which they'll hold in the corner. Everton on top of that is a corner. They thought it was a goal kick. And we'll watch this corner, then get your thoughts in a second. Arsenal have taken the corner quickly. Gabriel Jesus holds it in the corner. Patterson and Mikalenko's there. Another corner to Arsenal. The ball was put out by Vitaly Mikalenko. Gabriel Jesus will tear the corner. Gordon Gate's been told to get back by Simon Hooper, which I think will add the minutes on. More minutes on for that. Saka takes the corner. Ball into the penalty area. Patterson checks it back to Pickford. Pickford will look to get the ball forward for Everton. But there is a full-time whistle. It's all over. Arsenal have done enough in the end to come away with all 3 points thanks to Leandro Trossard's second half strike. It was a wonderfully taken first time effort. Well taken goal set up by Bukayo Saka on the Arsenal right hand side after a good play between Saka, White and Odegaard. And then Trossard finished off first time. So pave the path to Pickford. No chance for the Everton stopper there. And the full time score is Everton 0, Arsenal 1. And Paul James, your overall thoughts on the game, please.
Well, it was a game that the possession was dominated by Arsenal. Defensively, Everton stood up very, very well to Arsenal. Defensively, they were very difficult to break down. Chances were created at a premium, especially in the first half. In the second half, Arsenal opened up the Everton defence on a couple more occasions. And obviously the goal came, Trossard's brilliant strike. But all in all, I think, Everton very defensively, they just didn't get forward enough. When the first goal went in, I was almost saying to myself, and I didn't want to say it out loud, commentators curse and all that, but I didn't want to say it out loud, but I felt, well, that's it now, because Everton just aren't creating enough going forward. whereas Arsenal was still pressing even when the score was 1-0 and Everton are the home side. I don't like fans leaving early, but I can kind of understand the Everton fan base situation right now. I totally get why they might want to leave early. It's got to be very difficult to be an Everton fan right now. They've got questions about their ownership. I think they've just had another group of ownership taking over. There's been some questions surrounding them. And what I do know is this, and as you know as well, Ross, a bad owner can destroy a club. So I think I can kind of understand why the Everton fans leaving early today. But I think the team as a whole defended very well in what was a very, very difficult game.
Yes, a very difficult game in all, truth to be told, for Everton in the end. Full time then in the Premier League. Everton 0, Arsenal 0. Join myself and Paul back in a few moments as we react to this game in more detail. And then I bring you the results from rest of the weekends and rest of today's action. Join us in around 5 minutes' time. Welcome back to the Commentary Hub's coverage of Everton against Arsenal. Arsenal won the match by a goal to nil thanks to Leandro Trossard's goal in the second half. But let us run through some of the scores before I get myself and Paul's final thoughts on the match that we've just witnessed this afternoon. So first of all, let's run you through the scores. Starting in the Championship, Millwall 0, Leeds United 3. Leeds United up to 10th place in the table on 9 points. 2 points outside the top 6 after a very slow start by Daniel Farke's men. Back-to-back clean sheets for Leeds. Millwall dropped down a place to have dropped down to 18th place. There was 17th at the start of play before they kicked off at 12 o'clock. Dropped down to 18th with the amount of goals scored, because the goal difference is the same as Huddersfield Towns, who beat Rotherham United 2-0 on Saturday afternoon. In the FA Cup second qualifying round, Biggleswade 1, Cambridge City 2, Grey Wanderers 2, Ramsgate 2, replay for that game, and Wingate and Finchley 0, Farnborough 0, replay for that game as well. Women's Championship, Durham 1, London City Lionesses 0, Reading 1, Southampton 4, Sheffield United 1, Lewes 0, Birmingham 0, Charlton 1, Sunderland 1, Crystal Palace 1, Watford 0, Blackburn 1. That was in the Women's Championship. In Ligue 1 in France, Lorient 2, Monaco 2, Clermont 0, Nantes 1, Reims 1, Brest 2, Strasbourg 2, Montpellier 2, and Marseille 0, Toulouse 0 is another full-time score. The evening kickoff in that game is Olympique Lyonnais against Le Havre. That kicks off at 7:45 UK time. In the German Bundesliga, which we've got a fellow Bundesliga fan in the alongside me, and Paul James is one of those. He likes to watch his Bundesliga. The results in there was Heidenheim 4, Werder Bremen 2, and Darmstadt 3, Mönchengladbach 3. Darmstadt finished the game with 10 players. In the Italian Serie A, Cagliari 0, Udinese 0. Cagliari finished with 10 players in that match. Frenese 4, Sassuolo 2, Monza 1, Lecce 1. Monza and Lecce both finished the game with 10 men. In that match, 76 minutes gone, it's Fiorentina 3, Atalanta 2. AS Roma against Empoli is a 7:45 kickoff this evening in Serie A. In La Liga, Getafe 3, Osasuna 2, Villarreal 2, Almeria 1. Half-time Sevilla 0, Las Palmas 0 is a half-time score there. And I wonder if the players which missed the plane to Sevilla for Las Palmas yesterday managed to get out there in the end for them. We'll have to wait and see for that one. Real Madrid against Real Sociedad is an evening kickoff at 8 p.m. UK time. In the MLS, to tell you about CF Montreal 0, Chicago Fire 0, Charlotte 0, DC United 0, Orlando City 4, Columbus Crew 3, Philadelphia Union 2, FC Cincinnati 2. Both teams finished with 10 players. Toronto 1, Vancouver Whitecaps 2, FC Dallas 1, Seattle Sounders 1, Houston Dynamo 1, St. Louis City 1, Minnesota United 0, Sporting Kansas City 1, Colorado Rapids 2, New England Revolution 1, LAFC 4, LA Galaxy 2, San Jose Earthquakes 2, Real Salt Lake 1 is a result there. We'll bring you the Premier League results from the weekend and the table just before we leave you. But let's bring in the man who you've heard alongside me all afternoon. Is our also correspondent this season on the Commentary Hub. The man is Paul James. And Paul, what's been your overall thoughts, and what do you think the biggest takeaway, say Arsenal, can take away from this game today?
Well, I think for Arsenal, they've definitely been shut down by Everton today. I don't think Arsenal played badly at all. I just think they were shut down defensively, and I think that they're going to face games with Manchester City coming up in a few weeks. I think if Arsenal want to make a serious title contention, they're going to have to be a little bit more creative in the front line. This is still a young team, so I'm confident this Arsenal team can get better and better. But I think there's definitely positives to be taken away from this game today. When Everton did come forward, Arsenal looked very tight defensively. There was no way that Everton looked like they were going to score at any real point during the game. So they can still take a lot from this game.
Yes, and if you look at the way Everton played against Arsenal, Paul, what things do you think Everton could take away from their performance, keeping Arsenal, a team like Arsenal was up there challenging for the title last season, and they beat him 1-0 last season, down to just beating them by the goal which Arsenal fans normally sing, 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Yeah, I think Everton can be very, very proud of the way that they defended against Arsenal. It was a resolute Sean Dyche type of performance. They defended very, very well against some of the best attacking players in the league. So I think Everton fans can take solace in that, knowing this much that one of the key things that you need to stay in the Premier League is a good defence, and they look like they had that today. Going forward, well, that's another matter. There is concerns about the what I was seeing there today in the creativity and the build-up play, and where the goals are going to come from for the Blues this season.
Yes, and when you look at the overall performance in the midfield battle, Paul, how do you see where was the area that lost the game for Everton, if so to speak? Was it the front line not being able to score, or was it they lost it in the midfield battle? Is that where this game was lost for Everton today?
Well, the thing is, Russ, there was no real midfield battle because Everton adopted a very defensive style, and they were quite happy for Arsenal to have the ball and try to break them down. Um, so there was no real midfield battle. I just think that Everton adopted that defensive style, but never really laid a glove on Arsenal. And coming forward, there was just no offensive bite whatsoever. And I think that is a concern for Everton fans going forward. Where are the goals going to come from? Where's the creativity and the chances going to be created from? From what I saw in that game, I didn't see that from Everton today. Like there was definitely something missing going forward.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Everton this season. You've seen it this season, and you can see with the stats and how many goals have scored this season. They have scored 2 goals this season, and that goal from Trossard today was Everton's 9th goal that they conceded. And
Mm.
if you flip it the other way, that was Arsenal's 9th goal that they've scored this season in the Premier League, and they've conceded 4. So when you look at it with regards to Everton, they've scored two, conceded 9. 2 of those did score was against Sheffield United last time out, and Sheffield United's
Yeah.
down near the bottom. So that can be down to both defences weren't very good on that day, because both teams conceded 2. Whereas if you come up against an Arsenal side whose defence are on top game, you're not going to be able to score those chances either way last season. That's where they
Excuse me.
struggle
Yeah.
this season when they come up against teams of likes of Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, those sort of teams. I know Chelsea didn't play that well today by all accounts against Bournemouth, but you get what I'm saying, those kind of caliber of teams, Liverpool, Spurs, Man United to a certain degree, when they start getting the act together, those sort of teams, Everton going to really struggle against to find their goal scoring form. Best way for Everton to try and pick up most wins in score games is against teams in and around them, the likes of Luton, Burnley, Wolves, Bournemouth. Those sort of teams is probably where the best bet is for them to probably pick up the goals and pick up the points from, in my opinion.
Mm. Yeah, I would agree with that. Whether or not I think it's too early to say whether Everton are going to be in a relegation battle this season. I mean, don't forget we're not even out of September yet. But I think there's reasons as to for those making the argument that they will. I think there's reasons to support that argument.
Yes, and if I just want to just ask you a bit about the from on the Arsenal side of it now, just to put touch a bit on Everton's performance. Obviously, a bit in bit detail there with the Arsenal. Yes, they only scored one goal today. They could have on another day could have been three or four. There could have been about three goals up by half time if the chances were taken and Mikalenko weren't there putting his body on the line and the defence weren't putting the bodies on the line. But also know that they've got the quality in the final third. Yes, they only scored one goal today. Now the quality didn't really show today. But for Arsenal, where do you how far do you see them going? Do you think they could have another season where they're challenging them near the top again this season, or do you think they won't quite make the top four this season from what you've seen of the other teams so far?
Well, there's definitely Newcastle who's playing well. Liverpool are back to playing well. Um, so obviously Manchester City, we all know about them. But I think Arsenal have every chance of challenging up there with the players that they've got. That the squad that they've got, they've shown themselves that they can do it. Now it's a long, hard slog, and Manchester City are not an easy team to play against. So. I don't think Arsenal will win the league, but I will say that they'll be challenging up there.
Yes, I was wondering if that would be the case. If that
Well,
was going to be the
yeah.
case in Napoli because of how well how well Man City have played and how they've played so far this this season. Just one
Mm,
final one, Paul. Obviously, there's a big game tomorrow, which sees 12th place Nottingham Forest host 19th place Burnley. Uh, both teams, really, really well from watching them over the past couple of seasons.
mm.
Burnley last season mainly in the Championship, Forest covering them a number of times last season first on the hub and seen a few of their games already this season. You've seen a few Burnley games this season. Last time out for Burnley was a 2-2 draw was not 2-2 draw, sorry, lost 5-2 to Spurs, where Forest beat Chelsea on the road by a goal to nil. How do you see that game going tomorrow, Paul? Do you see that game as being something where Burnley could potentially get something from, or do you think Burnley will struggle to get anything out of Forest without Forest have been playing, especially at home in the last season and a half, and
Oh,
season and a bit, should I say?
there's no way Burnley's getting anything from that game. Uh, no way. I'm sorry. You look at the quality of the two sides, and you look at the depth that Forest have added to their lineup, um, and they've got a lot of strength in depth now. Burnley, well, defensively they're all over the place. You've got informed strikers like Taiwo Awoniyi, Divock Origi. We all know what he can do in the Premier League, and Morgan Gibbs-White in the midfield, playing, linking up well with Awoniyi. I don't think there's any way that. I mean, if Burnley get a point from that, I think Burnley fans should be delirious because a lot of them are thinking that, well, it's Nottingham Forest. They struggled last season. Maybe this is where we can get our first points. Don't bank on it. The way that team is playing.
Yes, and I was saying to a friend of ours, I'm talking about here, and I was saying to him, I think with the goals with Nottingham Forest, it's just be it's just be Burnley's luck. A player that they were looking at to sign in the summer transfer window in Divock Origi, you just mentioned there, Paul. Burnley were looking at him in the summer transfer window. Goes to Nottingham Forest. It just be Burnley's luck. Player that were hoping to sign goes to a rival because I think Forest will be down near the bottom, and I think Burnley will be down there as well
Yeah.
this season. Goes to a rival in your half of the field, in your half of the table, should I say. And if he gets the winner, that's going to hurt Burnley fans even more, especially one of the Burnley fans that we know.
Yeah, but I don't think Forest will be a relegation rival. I think with the team that they've got, I think you could be looking at 12th, 11th position for them this season. I don't think there will be a relegation rival. I think, I think Burnley's relegation rivals are going to be Luton, Sheffield United, Everton, possibly. Um, I don't see it being Nottingham Forest, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, this is a tough game. City Ground's never an easy place for any team to go and play there. They've already beaten Arsenal last season there. And that was without the rest of this in depth that they've added during the transfer window. I just don't see Forest being down there, in my opinion.
Yes, and we touched on Arsenal, and I'll just go back to this quickly, Paul, and then we'll wrap up the programme by getting out the Premier League scores and the table. What is it like after this game today? But GWaz has been on, he's been commenting throughout the game. Thank you, GWaz, for getting involved as always here on the commentary hub. And he says he can't see Arsenal making a bid for the title. He says he does not trust Arsenal strikers. And as well for me, I'm wondering for Arsenal, we'll just touch on this briefly, Paul. I'm wondering for me whether with Arsenal now having the Champions League, whether Arsenal can live up to playing in, say, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the Premier League, and the FA Cup,
Mm.
as well as trying to challenge for the title this season.
It's a tough ask. I think it really depends. In terms of the striker front, I think it really depends on the likes of Martinelli, definitely Jesus, whether he can stay fit and he can be on form. Saka as well. Those front three really made the inroads into most of Arsenal's goals last season. So I think it really depends on the form of those three as to whether Arsenal will make a bid to challenge Manchester City. I think it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yes, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Thank you very much for your input today, Paul. Hopefully, we'll have Paul back on the channel very, very shortly. Let's run you through the results from the Premier League from today. So let's go through today's match. So in the Premier League from Saturday, 16th of September, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Liverpool 3. Aston Villa 3, Crystal Palace 1. Fulham 1, Luton Town 0. Manchester United 1, Brighton Hove Albion 3. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Sheffield United 1. West Ham United 1, Manchester City 3. Newcastle 1, Brentford 0. Sunday, 17th of September 2023, AFC Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. Everton 0, Arsenal 1. Let's run you through the Premier League table. Manchester City, top of the Premier League table, 5 wins from 5, 15 points from 15 at the top of the Premier League table. Then come Tottenham, 13 points from their opening 5 games, as who's got the same amount of points as Liverpool and Arsenal, who make up the top 4. Brighton are in 5th with 12 points from their opening 5 games. West Ham are in 6th with 10 points for their opening 5 games. Then Villa in 7th on 9 points. Then Crystal Palace in 8th on 7 points. Fulham in 9th on 7 points. Goal difference separates the two London sides. Brentford are in 10th, another London side. They're on 6 points from 5 games. Newcastle 6 points from 5 games. Nottingham Forest 6 points from 4 games. They play Burnley tomorrow. Manchester United in 13th, 6 points from 5 games. Chelsea 5 points from 5. Rubbish start to the tenure of Maurizio Pochettino, and a very poor start as well, if I'm being truthfully honest with you guys. Bournemouth remain 15th with 3 points from 5 games. Wolves in 16th with 3 points from 5 games. Sheffield United 1 point from 5 games outside the bottom 3 on goal difference, where there's Everton on 1 point from 5 games after their defeat to Arsenal by a goal to nil today. Burnley in 19th, looking for that first win of the season, which will see them climb out of the bottom 3 if they get it to the City ground against Nottingham Forest on Monday evening. And at the bottom of the table remain Luton Town, 4 defeats from their opening 4 games in the Premier League so far this campaign. So big thank you to Paul James for his excellent input throughout the game today. Thank you, GWAS, for your commentary again. He says, great show again, both. Enjoy the commentary. Thank you very much, my friend. Stay locked. We've got more commentaries on the way, Shock, this season, and hopefully more commentaries this week. Hopefully we've got the Forest Burnley game tomorrow. But what we have got on Tuesday evening, join myself again as I bring you commentary from the Champions League as Milan take on Newcastle United. Can Newcastle get the win that we've got in the Champions League against a Milan side who were absolutely hammered yesterday by their Milan rivals Inter in the Milan derby in Serie A yesterday. So just to tell you, we got in the Serie A yesterday, which was in that game between Milan and Inter at the San Siro. It was Inter was the nominated home side for that game in Serie A. Yesterday afternoon, he finished Inter 5, AC 1 in the Milan derby yesterday in Serie A, which is a bad result then. And next Sunday, don't forget, 2 p.m. is the kick-off time. It's North London derby, Arsenal against Spurs. Who will come out on top in that one? Make sure you join us for all those and plenty more through the week as well. From all of the team here, from myself, Russ, from Paul, and from rest of the Commentary Hub team, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. From all of us here, take care and goodbye for now.